showed to your players just to emphasize the type of athlete that they'll be facing?
Yeah, I did. I just showed that along with a bunch of other ones that are similar, to just show like it's not like a one-time thing. He's got a bunch of plays that you would be like, oh, it's kind of flukish, but he just doesn't go down, and he's hard to get down. Like, he's the type of guy that he has the ability to kind of run wherever, and he's got the strength and like the contact balance that he just doesn't go down, and he'll fight for it. And he's really talented and has top-end speed. Once he gets outside of breaking a tackle, he can go.
Last season, the defensive backs intercepted 16 passes, I believe, in the regular season. So far this season, they haven't intercepted any. Why do you feel the production on the ball among the secondary is down this season?
No. I mean, we got to attack it more. I mean, there's always ops. We just, it's just one of those things where we just a mindset of when it's up, it's ours. Like, be the receiver, like, be the aggressor. Just hasn't happened yet. We need to be more aggressive with it.
You guys didn't break. Oh, go ahead.
Look, when you're talking to these guys after 5 games, what are you kind of harping on with them that, look, we need to do this a little bit better. We need to do, we're right here, but we need to do this a little bit better. What are those specific things that you think will just take you guys back into the identity that the Niners have always had?
I think it depends on the play. I mean, more so right now, it's just, the mindset of getting ready on a short week, and we're cramming first, second, and third down today. So it's more of just dealing with today, and then when you're evaluating the plays, I think it just depends on what the play is. I mean, I don't think it's one certain thing here. It's just there's different stuff that shows up. Whether it's for a minute there, it was explosive passes, because those have consistently led to points for years and years and years. And when we give those up and we don't take the ball, like you just mentioned on the interceptions, like, it's tough to win games, because those are stats that are continuous and they're consistent, and it's every year. So, whatever the turnover margin is, I mean, if we make it even, I think that last game's different. So I think we always feel like we have to do our part. So that was one of them. But also, any explosive plays, whether it's run or pass.
Do you feel that teams are trying to show you things that they haven't put on tape yet?
It does. I mean, that kind of happens each week, because you want to show something. I mean, we try and do it too, where you give some look and try and do something off of the same look. Like, I think that's what most people do, really. So I think the unscouted plays, that's just what the NFL is. That's what smart coordinators do. That's what smart coaches do. You kind of challenge to do what you do, but how can I make something be different off of the similar look?
How much do you second guess yourself after a rough game, and how much do you lay into the foundation of what you do and believe in that?
It's a good question, because you don't ever have regrets, but there's always things you want to improve on. And if I'm honest, there's times I'm like, God, I could have done this, but no, I believe in that. Like, we can coach this better, or we can execute that better. You don't want to get too far off your fundamentals of your beliefs either. And so that's what I lean into more than anything. And then it's just, how can we get better, fundamentally? And that's with coaching and with how we play and how we practice. And I think there's always going to be calls that aren't perfect for what they do. I think it's the whole, whoever has the pencil last, right? And depending on the route or the run versus the pressure or the coverage. So there's always a little bit of that, but you also have to trust your process. And like you said, if there's unscouted looks, sometimes you just got to be ready to adjust.
Nick, when you watched the Murray 50-yard run on film, what was the breakdown on that play?
Yeah, it was. They got us a bit on that one. We were in single high there, and they just got us on the edge. We didn't bump out, and then we got caught up from the post, and it was a couple different things.
What was the situation there? Sorry to ask you about another breakdown, but it was the one where I think it was I forget which receiver, but he was wide open, and I think it was Ward and Lenore both dropped.
Oh, on the 3rd and 7,
yeah.
Miscommunication after a motion. We had one similar to that off a stack, and a similar D&D earlier to the other side, and it was good communication. And that time it ended up just being on the wrong page.
Mooney's success against DK, would you expect that to be a one-on-one that you're focusing on most of the game?
It can happen. We'll see. We evaluate everything, and we'll go from there. I like all our corners. I respect DK a lot. I respect Tyler Lockett a lot. He's done it for 10 years, and even Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think they have a really talented group, starting with Gino and the running back too. I mean, I think overall, if you look at their skill group, it might be the most talented one we've played overall. When you put the tight ends in it and all the receivers, really both running backs, and then Geno, who can still do it. I think he still moves around well enough. He's been getting rid of the ball fast. I know he's got a great arm, and they've been getting a lot of explosive plays. We talked about the explosives. I mean, they've been explosive. I think they're top 5 in explosives. So,
The last 2 weeks, the defense has missed 29 tackles. What does the film show? Is it fatigue? Are these guys breaking down a little bit?
I wouldn't say it's fatigue. I think we miss tackles sometimes because we're aggressive. Like, we do coach our guys to take their shots. If you show, like, make me a cut up of those tackles, and I'll tell you if it's a good or bad one, to be honest. I mean, that's just, we play aggressive, we play violent. We have, I think, sometimes Fred shows up with quite a few missed tackles, but if a guy stops his feet and, they're having to take time, and that guy loses a yard, but you kind of fall off, and now we've got 2 other guys coming, then that's not a bad missed tackle. Sometimes they're a little bit different. I'd have to quantify it by looking at tape. Then I could probably talk you through if they're good or bad or not.
After the game, Bosa was asked about Connor having more success, on the final 2 drives, and he said they made some adjustments with his own read. He suggested you guys could have adjusted to that better, and sometimes throughout the season, you could have made better in-game adjustments. Is that a fair assessment?
I don't think it was something we didn't adjust. I mean, we started changing some of the calls, and we did mix up whether it was too high or brought pressures. So I thought we talked about it on the sideline, what happened on that one play, and I don't think it was really any breakdown or miscommunication on not adjusting late, because we were changing things up and, getting different looks with our shell and with bringing different types of pressures as well.
Where has Malik Mustafa made his biggest strides from the point where, when Huff was out early in the season, he
Where'd you
wasn't.
say? Oh, you said Malik. Okay.
Where's he made his biggest strides so that now, when Huff is out, you have confidence in him starting?
I think his strides have come just because he's played a lot. I mean, we've had a lot of guys play, and I think it's good that guys gain knowledge through getting their snaps. And for him, it's just being comfortable being out there. I think I've mentioned before, like with safeties, it's that comfort to communicate and the feel of the game and the flow of the game and how it moves and how you have to be, a leader back there behind our backers, that you can communicate across the board and be tied in. And I think he's done a good job with that.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, guys.